I think Twitter is really betting on as many platforms as they can right now to get this sort of big streaming push for them out as widely as possible. I spoke with Anthony Noto, Twitter's CFO, when I was reporting this story out a few weeks ago. And one of the things he talked about was, there's a bunch of things they could do to deal with the Google stuff, which includes, buy keywords against searches for the NFL game where you can find it streaming online, and this Apple TV deal, which I found out later on, which could just bring that audience, widen that audience up to millions more people that just wouldn't otherwise be watching it.
Now, Mike, does this solve any of what you see as the fundamental challenges that Twitter has? I mean, I guess some might say that if they want to expand into video, they need broad distribution. Organic growth isn't necessarily giving that to them, so another platform could help. But in terms of things around the way people treat each other on Twitter, around the way these different services, maybe Periscope, are integrated into the core product, is this going to fracture Twitter further, or is it going to bring it closer together?
That's a good point. I think right now they're just trying to get people in the door any way they can, and they can sort out the abuse issues later that they seriously have a problem with and have had a problem with for a very long time. But their pitch right now is they have an audience of more than 500 million users, probably even potentially more than Facebook in some cases, because they have this huge logged out audience of people who don't necessarily come to twitter.com to see the product. So the question for them is, how can they put Twitter into experiences that people know, whether that's watching traditional TV or these other sort of Apple TV, or Xbox is another one that they've actually announced, and get them to see the value in using Twitter along with that TV experience. And in this case, that means literally putting Twitter on top of a streaming game. And frankly, no one knows if it's going to work, but it's a pretty big bet.
One thing I like about your story, Mike, is some of the history and the explanation of how the debate of what Twitter's evolution should look like goes back well into Costello's tenure. Has this been a tortured process or not?
I think everything at Twitter is a tortured process, to be honest. No, it actually has. There was. In there, I write about, I think it took like 18 months for them to actually decide, we're going to build a video product, we need a new player, we need it to work alongside of TV really well. But, one of the things that Dick Costolo, the former CEO, did when he brought on Anthony Noto, the now CFO, was make this phone call about 18 months ago saying, we need a content strategy, what's that going to be? Are we going to produce our own with potentially buying this news site from millennials called Mike? Which they ended up not doing. Are we going to, make these licensing deals? And ultimately, they did these licensing deals. And one of the big things, I think, too, is that Twitter actually has a pretty young audience, considering some of the folks I talked to. Apparently, some 72% is age 18 to 34, and that's pretty attractive to advertisers and the big audience that Snapchat is really sort of positioning themselves to be speaking with.
Mike, does the fact that they've actually said, okay, we have to do these licensing deals and made moves in this direction indicate that management at Twitter is no longer sort of settling back on this idea that it's just this essential service for civilization? I think Wall Street had some frustration there, that they had these very elevated sense of what Twitter's mission was in the world without really having that much of a business punchline attached to it.
Yeah, look, I mean, folks like us clearly see the value in Twitter. I mean, we're snarking along at any presidential debate or a basketball game or whatever, but normal people just don't know why they should use Twitter in the first place, and don't really get those instant sort of fun moments of joking around. I mean, Carl and I are like BFFs on Twitter, right? But we sort of have come to that over time. It's hard for a normal person to come in and just immediately see that value. So I think there's a business case, at least, in getting these streaming deals lined up. But really, something else that Noto said was this hopefully trickles down to sort of surface the underserved content on Twitter, which is all the other serendipitous moments that are out there really every single day.
Hey CNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Here you're going to find videos packed with all of the information that you need to be smarter about your finances. You can subscribe by clicking right here and click on all the videos around me or the eye right here to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.